Let's start with the truth. You are not free. You think you choose, but something else chooses for you. It shapes your smile, your silence, your hunger to be seen. A silent force, so close you think it's you. But it's not. It's the ego, and it's been in control the whole time.
What is this force behind the curtain? It's not just ego, it's evolution's design. A deep, ancient hunger wired into your nervous system. The need to be admired, to belong, to win. This craving for status isn't personal, it's primal. Long before you had a name, it was already shaping you. And today, it still is. Invisible, unchosen, but always in charge. Picture your distant ancestors huddled around a fire, eyes on the tribe's pecking order. Back then, status was survival. High status meant first pick of food, the safest shelter, the best chance to pass on your genes. Low status meant being ignored, left vulnerable, maybe cast out into the dark. To your old brain, being insignificant wasn't just sad. It was a death sentence. So our minds learned to play the game. Over millennia, those obsessed with their standing were more likely to survive and reproduce. The ones who didn't care? They vanished. Now here you are, with that same ancient program quietly running in the background. You think you're chasing career goals or personal passions, but beneath it all hums that old instinct. Climb, compete, impress. Stay safe by staying on top. Think about it. Why do you cringe when you embarrass yourself in front of others? Because some part of you feels you just lost standing, and in primitive terms, safety. Why does praise from a stranger light you up inside? Because to your primal brain, it's a sign you belong, that you're valued by the tribe. Every compliment, every award, every nod of approval isn't just flattery. It's your inner caveman hearing you'll live. You're one of us. You live in a world of modern castles and digital thrones, but your psyche still bows to the tribe. Look at social media, a giant arena where millions chase applause and measure their worth in followers. You post a picture and then wait, hungry for likes, each one a tiny hit of validation. Every notification whispers, "You are seen, you matter." And each time you listen, chasing approval from an invisible master. It doesn't stop there. Think about the career you chose, the clothes you wear, the opinions you swallow or shout. How much was truly your choice, and how much was guided by that urge to fit in or stand out? You tell yourself you're pursuing what you love. But be honest, would you still want those same things if nobody else was ever going to know? If no one would applaud or envy you for it? The harsh truth is that so many of your desires are puppeted by the need to be admired. You've become both puppet and marionette, dancing to a tune set by ancient fear. You climb social ladders that never end, chase badges of importance that crumble to dust in your hands. And all the while, you tell yourself it's for happiness, or growth, or the greater good. Deep down, you know better. In the dead of night, in rare moments of honesty, you feel the emptiness behind the accolades, the hollow victory after winning a race that no one else knew was happening, the uneasy silence when the applause dies and you're left alone with yourself. It's like wearing a crown made of paper. For a moment, you feel like royalty, but the first rain leaves you cold and crownless. And so you run back to the crowd, chasing the next high, the next trophy to hold up. A bigger salary, a shinier car, a prettier face by your side. Something, anything to fill that hole of not enough. Your life starts to look like a series of transactions. You trade away time, authenticity, maybe even pieces of your soul, all for a few drops of approval. Crawling on your hands and knees, reaching for a crown that's always just out of reach, but it's never enough. And those chains do come. The higher you climb, the heavier the weight of keeping your place. Every interaction starts to feel like a test. Every achievement, a bar you must clear again next time. You wear your titles and possessions like armor, but underneath, you're more vulnerable than ever. The ego that swells with each success also grows more brittle, terrified that one day it will all crumble. In trying to master the game, you only become more mastered by it. Think about the envy that burns when someone you know surpasses you. That sting isn't just jealousy, it's panic. Your subconscious registers a threat. They're rising, which means I'm falling behind. It could be someone you love. Yet a little voice in you rejoices at their stumbles and aches at their success. It's ugly, but it's real. Evolution didn't care about your nobility or friendship. It cared about your rank. Think of the energy you waste keeping up appearances. Hours spent curating the perfect image. Every time you laugh at a joke that isn't funny or pretend to agree with something you don't believe, you pay a price. Each little act of pretend is a small betrayal of your true self. But over time, it hollows you out. One day you look in the mirror and see a stranger wearing your face. A persona built to please everyone else. That question haunts you. Without the trophies, the applause, the carefully crafted image, who are you? If your worth isn't measured by others, do you even know how to measure it at all? The thought terrifies you. So you distract yourself with another goal, another competition, another round of applause to drown out that quiet terror. The ego would rather keep you chasing a lie than let you stop and face the possibility that you might be worthy without all of this. Here's a cold truth. Your ego doesn't want you to find that independent worth. Because the moment you do, it loses its grip. As long as you measure yourself by the social mirror, ego stays in control. It will make you fear being invisible more than death. And for most, that fear is enough to keep them leashed for life, dancing for approval until their time is up. Now step back and really look at this game. It's absurd, isn't it? Billions of people, each with a fragile little life, scrambling to climb on each other's shoulders. As if the one who dies highest wins. We've built whole civilizations on that scramble. So much of human effort is fueled by this endless grasping to feel important. We're capable of brilliance and empathy, yet we squander countless hours on petty status wars that mean nothing in the end. When your final breath comes, what will all those trophies be worth? If that all sounds bleak, it should, because it's true. But recognizing this doesn't make you cynical, it makes you honest. We prefer comforting lies, that success will fulfill us, that being admired will silence our insecurities. Yet history is filled with emperors and tycoons who had everything and still felt empty, still craved more. We're all chasing a horizon that keeps receding. The first step off this treadmill is to admit that you've been on it. Now here you stand, confronted with the reality that you've been playing a rigged game, designed by evolution and exploited by society. How do you feel? Angry that you were controlled, ashamed that you were so easily led, or relieved because some part of you sensed the lie all along? Whatever it is, it means you're waking up. You're starting to see the strings attached to you, the cage around you. And once you see it, you can't remain fully captive. Awareness is the beginning of freedom, a freedom most never taste, because they never admit they're in chains. But be careful. Seeing the truth doesn't mean the game is over. Your ego won't evaporate overnight. Those instincts wired into you will keep humming, tempting you back onto the treadmill. You'll still feel the urge to compare, to impress, to seek that next hit of validation. In fact, now that you know, the battle might get fiercer. Because you'll notice every time you're about to kneel to the ego's demands. This is where many people falter. They glimpse the truth and then turn away. Fighting your own nature is uncomfortable. It's easier to slip back under the warm blanket of ignorance, to tell yourself that chasing approval is just being ambitious or being social. It's easier to rationalize the game than to resist it. So most see flickers of this truth, and then let it fade like a bad dream in daylight. But you don't have to be like them. You wouldn't still be here if some part of you wasn't hungry for something real, a way of living not dictated by this primitive hunger. That part of you, call it your higher self or your soul or whatever, is watching now, waiting to see what you'll do with this knowledge. Will you bury it, or will you use it to break the pattern? Breaking the pattern doesn't mean killing your ego. The ego stays. The urge for status will still flare up, but it no longer has to rule you. You can feel the pull and not obey it. You can observe the desire without letting it drive. Think of it like taming a wild beast. It's part of you and never truly gone, but it can be understood and managed. It will still roar and you might slip back into old habits, and that's all right. What matters is that now you can catch yourself. Even smile at the absurdity. There I go again, worrying what strangers think. Just by seeing it, you steal some of its power. Slowly, the power of choice creeps back into your life. You start measuring success differently, not by applause, but by how authentic you feel. You do some things in secret, just for your own growth or kindness, with no one to impress. You find pride not in being above others, but in being in control of yourself. Each time you resist the urge to posture or compete, it's a small rebellion, a quiet victory over that ancient programming. Make no mistake, this is a rebellion. In a world that glorifies the winners of the status game, choosing not to play by those rules is a quiet revolution. You might not get the same external rewards. Fewer people may applaud you. Some may even look down on you for stepping off the ladder. But remember, their approval was the bars of your cage, not the key to freedom. By letting go of needing it, you begin to taste a freedom most will never know. You may wonder what that freedom feels like. It's subtle. It's the quiet confidence of knowing who you are when no one's watching. The relief of not having to wear a mask. The peace of doing good or creative things without needing a pat on the back. It's when criticism doesn't break you and praise doesn't intoxicate you. When you can step out of the game in your mind, even while living in a world obsessed with it. Imagine looking at someone who once intimidated you with their flashy achievements and feeling compassion instead of inferiority. Because you see they're stuck on the treadmill you left behind. Or imagine turning down an opportunity that would boost your image but violate your values. And feeling not regret, but calm certainty. These moments are small but profound. They mean you're living by your own compass, not by the magnet of public opinion. Gradually, you become a different kind of person, in others' eyes and in your own. Someone who isn't easily baited by status games and doesn't need to one-up anyone to feel okay. People may not understand it. They might call you unambitious or strange. Let them. Their confusion is their own. You're busy carving a path that makes sense to you, finding a self-respect that no one can take away because they never gave it to you. This path isn't for everyone. Many will scoff at the idea of stepping out of the race. Some can't imagine life without the rush of competition and constant validation. They've worn their chains so long, they think the chains are part of them. They'll even defend the very cage that traps them. But that doesn't have to be you. If you've come this far, you already feel the weight of those chains. And you're ready to see how life feels without them. Yes, the world will still try to pull you back in. You'll face pressure from peers, family, the culture. Pressure to keep proving yourself by their metrics. You might be tempted to slip into old roles just to keep others comfortable. But now you know what that really is. A slow surrender of your own soul to appease expectations. And once you've tasted self-respect, the fake kind that others give in crumbs won't satisfy you anymore. This knowledge you hold is a double-edged sword. On one hand, seeing through the charade gives you power. On the other, you can no longer enjoy the easy comfort of ignorance. You can't chase praise now without knowing exactly what you're doing. You can't wear the mask without feeling it scratch your skin. You've woken up, and there's no going back to sleep unless you choose it. This truth is dark, yes, but it arms you with insight. And with insight comes responsibility. So, what will you do with this responsibility? Now that you see the game for what it is, how will you play? You could try to forget. Slip back into the warm embrace of normalcy and pretend you never peeked behind the curtain. Or you could begin the hardest journey there is, to live deliberately, eyes open, bound by nothing except the values you choose. The world won't change for you, but you can change how you move through it. Remember, we may not control nature's design, but we can defy it by choice. Evolution gave you this urge, and it also gave you the intelligence to understand it. That knowledge is power. You can choose which impulses to feed and which to starve. Even if you sometimes play the game, you'll do it knowing it's a game. And that makes all the difference. You own your ego now, not the other way around. It's a sobering realization, but also a liberating one. The chains were always in your hands. You were shackled by something that is part of you, which means you've had the key all along. It was there in the questioning, in the courage to face this uncomfortable truth. This cold, sharp clarity has cut through years of mental fog. And now you can finally breathe free air. Not because the world changed, but because you did. If you do nothing now, you'll drift back into your old trance. Comfort will lull you, and you'll fall back asleep. And you know what awaits if you do. The same life of quiet desperation, dancing on puppet strings without ever realizing who pulls them. Don't let that happen. Not after everything you've seen. Before you go, take one action. Write a single sentence in the comments. Not a reaction, not a slogan. One brutally honest sentence that marks the moment you stopped lying to yourself. Let that be your first act of defiance. A message to yourself carved in digital stone. Now, step back into your life. Disappear from this screen and go live in the real world for a while. Test what you've learned. Feel what it's like to move through your day without the usual chains pulling at you. And when you're ready for another uncomfortable truth, you know where to find me. I'll be here as I always am, waiting on the edge. That border between the known and the unknown, where all growth begins. This is where I'll meet you every time, to push a little further and shine a light on the shadows we'd rather not see. It's never easy, but it's how we wake up. Go and live your life, and remember what you've learned when the siren song of status calls. If you find yourself slipping, if doubt creeps in, return to this truth. Rewind and remind yourself of the invisible chains you finally saw. Clarity is a gift that blurs with time. Treat it like a flame in a storm and keep it alive. Most people will never do this. They'll live and die as slaves to expectations, never understanding why they felt so empty. But you have a chance to break that fate. Use it. Choose courage over comfort, reality over pleasant lies. Choose to see, even when it hurts. That is the path of the awakened, and it's worth every step. This journey won't give you a trophy. No one may ever clap for you. Many might not even notice the quiet revolution inside you. But you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for the only one who will be with you in the end, yourself. And that is enough. Before we part, take a deep breath and feel the weight of what you've realized. This knowledge is dark, but it's also a kind of light. It shows you where the exit is, even if the door is hard to walk through. The rest is up to you. Tomorrow, wake up and remember that you know the secret hidden in plain sight. Disappear, live, and when you're ready, come back. I'll be waiting here, on the edge, where it all begins.